No, it is sad that there are limits.
It takes a minute for it to...
It's very sad that there even needs to be. Because freedom of speech should be just what it says. Because it hit, let me look and see. I literally just now, this split second, got a notification. The show is on.
There we go. That's why we leave it. When they'll swap me.
I think I must have had lotion on the last time I put my glasses on last night. Because it's like that smudge, delicious on it.
Smudgelicious.
No, I mean, I must have had lotion on when I was like wearing it or something. I don't hear me or I don't hear my headset or my. I barely hear. I don't hear myself at all. I don't think my mic's on. Is it? Or did a mic get switched out maybe? Because I don't hear myself at all.
Do you hear me?
No,
Check 1 2
I hear
4,000.
you now. I hear you.
Hey, Ruth says good morning.
Good morning. I still don't hear me. I'm wondering if maybe this mic and that mic got switched and it's a different number. Are they all on? And Dr. Clothier said he
Hey,
needs
Chance,
a
good
link.
morning. Hey, can you guys hear Kathy?
Hello. Because I can barely hear the music and I can't hear myself at all.
I'm sharing my life away.
We may have to switch mics. Yeah, that's odd.
Chance says I sound good.
Can you guys hear
Can
Kathy?
y'all hear me? Now I
Charles
hear
says I can
me.
hear you?
Yep. Yep.
Yes, Ruth says she
Now
can
I can
hear you.
hear.
Chance says she can hear you. Hey,
Yay,
Jeanette
thanks.
Clothier tuning in to see the
Hey,
Dr.
to see
Clothier.
her husband is needing a link. He said he didn't receive the link yet.
Live from VentureX Studios, it's JP, Kathy, and the crew.
Well, good morning, Monday.
Whew.
It's Monday.
Is it?
No, I lied. It's Tuesday.
Is it? Then
No, it's Monday.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's
no,
Monday.
it's Monday.
It's Monday.
You're
Let's
stuck with Monday.
Let's say it more enthusiastically. It's Monday.
I did. I said good morning, Monday.
You did. I guess I was the one that kind of went. Wah,
Wah, wah, wah. Well, it's the unicorn hat.
Unicorn
Hey.
hat. That's the
Where's
two
Baby
separate
Yoda?
things.
I'm getting ready.
He's at my shelf at home. I forgot to bring him
I'm
today.
getting ready to eject El Unicorno
Oh,
because I want to see Baby Yoda.
I forgot Baby Yoda. I thought about that
Yeah.
halfway here.
No, yeah, this is not going to work for me.
Sorry, Grogu.
Yeah, Grogu's not happy with you. He's going to do some of that mind trick stuff for the Jedi's run on you. Well, I'll tell you what, if you're not careful, you're going to get some mind tricks from Twitter, Facebook, and Google. You want to stay tuned and listen to what we're talking about there. Everybody.
Do
Woo!
we
Sing
have
it, Kathy.
freedom of speech anymore?
Yes, Kathy.
That is the question we will be asking to the crew. Is
Well, right now, the
what's
Venture
up
X-
with freedom of speech?
Venture X has protected us from the Army. They're not coming in to take you away yet.
Why was the Army going to take us away? We
Free speech.
support the Army.
Free speech.
Oh, you've got to worry about the big corporations with freedom of speech.
Oh.
That's what we're having to worry about.
You're talking about the monopolies.
Whoo, buddy. We got some fun stuff to talk about with that.
You're
We've got
talking about the
Dr.
monopolies.
Clothier, and he is going to be answering questions about vaccines. Tons of questions. JP and I have both been getting tons of questions from the crew as far as, people who want the vaccine, who, a bajillion questions. So Dr. Clothier will be on soon to discuss that. What else? It seems like there was something else
there's
we were
lots.
talking about.
First, we're going to talk about First Amendment rights versus, private industry and market. Do we have a monopoly? Is that something that should be legal? Number one.
Yes, that's something that
Number
needs to
two,
be
Dr.
changed.
Clothier, and we're going to talk about COVID-19 vaccines. And we're going to talk about how JP is going to take us through a way to try to get your COVID-19 vaccine.
Yes. So you'll want to stay tuned to that. Oh, we're going to talk about just some of the stuff going on. Vice President Mike Pence has gotten death threats.
Well, we're going to talk about all Well, you got the impeachment
We
coming
have a
up.
9-hour show
New
today.
Nancy Pelosi idiisms.
Oh.
I'm excited.
And my brother sent me a text, and so I turned it on. I watched her 60 Minutes interview. Oh, okay, yeah. We'll just put that out there. So we'll be discussing
Yes, Coach
that
Quigley.
as well.
Dr. Clothier is the missing link. Good morning, Jim Partridge.
That was funny. Hey,
It
Dad.
was. And here's the Minority
He's not
Report.
in Facebook jail.
I love that. Charles Gura says the Minority Report. Amen to that.
Hey,
Pre-crime. Here we go. Let's start arresting the parlor.
Charles. Oh,
Did you just point at him?
Well, hey.
Oh,
which
oh,
camera?
hey, what-
Charles.
It's all about the Benjamins. Look at you go now.
Look at me. Look at me going which
Look at
camera?
you go now. Kabam, kabam,
Woo!
kabam, kabam. Oh, they can't see me because the camera. Hey, Chambrielle, this isn't the Kathy show.
Well, no, she just switched it on
There's
to
two
me, but I
names.
did this.
Yeah, but I'm doing ba-bam, ba-bam, ba-bam too, and I got my ba-bam, ba-bam censored.
Are those censored fingers?
Oh, I was censored.
Well, freedom of speech.
Really?
What's going to be going on the next 4 years?
I just got censored on my own show.
My goodness! You know what?
Hey, Ron
and
Baker.
the Texas legislative session starts tomorrow, so definitely we'll be talking about that
why I've got
as the
my
session
wallet out.
goes on.
The session starts tomorrow, folks.
No, no.
Hold on to your
Hold
wallet.
on to your money, honey.
Because here comes
Hold
the Texas
on
legislature.
to your money. No, we've and then Wednesday, Dr. Good.
Clothier back again.
No,
Oh, no, Dr.
well,
Good.
Dr. Good will be talking about education in this legislative
going on?
session.
Do we have
So
Dr. Clothier,
lots
by
to
the way?
talk about.
Not yet.
Oh, he said still no link.
Well, we've sent it to him a couple times.
Well, I'm saying try it
Send her
again.
again.
Because I know he's got a he's got a. I mean, he said that literally he is bombarded. They are bombarded in his office with phone calls about the COVID vaccine. So
COVID-19 vaccination. Well,
COVID-19.
again, the interesting thing, if you're in Collin County and you contacted the Collin County Health Department and you got on the Collin County list, a week ago when I put my dad on the list, because I don't qualify, of course, but my dad qualifies
Right.
of some of the things that he's got going on, right? And so he was 10,057th on the list. Well, by 30 minutes or 40 minutes later, there were 31,000 people on the list, because I got an email
wow
from the county that said, hey, we're at 30,000 something. And so it's like, wow, I'm glad I jumped on when I did. And so are there other alternatives? Also, again, if you're in Collin County has partnered with several cities around Collin County to help administer the COVID-19 vaccine when we get the next shipment in. If you're in Dallas County or Tarrant County, again, you want to go to, and we'll talk about this when Dr. Clothier comes on, you want to go to your DSHS website. And you can punch in your zip code, and it will give you where you can go and find the COVID-19 vaccine and where you can go get it administered. Now, again, it's not going to be I walk up, get it, and I get to go home. So this is going to be a process because there's a lot of people trying to get vaccinated. So
yeah.
when Dr. Clothier comes on, we'll have that conversation.
I mean, here's the thing: people are calling their own doctors, and also I've noticed on for my pharmacy, like when I call in to get prescriptions refilled for my family for various different medications, the very first thing, it doesn't even say like welcome to such and such pharmacy. It's like pharmacy hours are this, and either no, we do not have COVID, or here's what you need to do if we have the shot, and all this kind of stuff. So I would imagine the Walgreens and the CVS and all the different pharmacies are getting hit up hard as well.
Well, and Brookshire's
So yeah,
as well.
yeah. Anybody who's got a
Do you have Dr. Clothier?
Yeah.
Do you have my screen still? Yes. Okay. Do you see the COVID-19 vaccination information screen?
Do we send it to Dr. Clothier again?
Yes, we did.
Shoot.
Yes, if you can. So, to get you started off, do we have Dr. Clothier? Yes. Oh, fantastic.
Yay,
Throw him on,
yay.
and we can always come back to my screen.
We can come back to JP's. Good.
So, good morning, Dr. Clothier.
Good morning, Dr. Good, and good morning, Rhonda Massey.
Dr. Clothier, can you
Dr.
hear us?
Clothier.
Hey, good morning.
Good
Hello.
morning. There you
Yeah,
go.
sorry, I that until a minute ago.
Well, no, evidently technology is
Not our friend this morning.
showing us how steady it is. And
Yeah. So, am I actually on? Mine says no video.
right now, no video, but we have you
We
on
have you on
audio.
audio,
Okay.
so
All
we'll
right.
start
As long
picking
as
your
you
brain while
think
we
I'm
get on
on,
video.
I'm going to let you think it.
Well,
Yeah.
absolutely. We'll put your picture up there because you're a handsome fella. And we've got Mrs. Clothier watching, so we got to get a picture of
I
you.
was going to say, out of all the
Absolutely.
days since your wife is watching, we've got to have your picture on there.
Dr. Clothier,
There he
Definitely.
is. There he is.
to bring us back around full circle here, because I know you have a busy schedule. The Texas Department of State Health Services, are they our friend? Do they help us out? And how do we go out around and find the COVID-19 vaccination?
Well, first, unfortunately, the numbers just are difficult because we now have 21 million plus infected Americans. I think that's got everybody kind of worked up into the proper desire to get the immunization. I think it's a really good idea. And I'll tell you more about that here in a little bit. But the problem is we just have a lot of people and not that many vaccines and trucks and transportation means. And some of the Pfizer one has to be stored at negative 70 degrees. And, it's a logistical challenge. It was approved less than a month ago. And we've been getting, I know, just a slew of phone calls about people wanting to get it and frankly, wanting to move up in the order of getting it. But it's got to be organized and it's got to be given by people that have gotten the vaccine. So, for instance, in my office, we've asked to be a vaccine giver, but we have yet to hear when we'll receive it. So, it's one of those things where I appreciate people calling and checking to see if we have it and can give it. We just don't have it. And so that has been the challenge in Texas is that, as in the rest of the U.S., it's not Texas only, but the desire to give it is great. The opportunity to give it has been rather limited. Now, from what I read basically early this morning on the availability, it should become much more available this week. And there will be various outlets to get it. Strangely enough, Collin County doesn't have an official one, though there are 1 million plus people in Collin County. But Dallas County, Tarrant County, and Denton County do have outlets. So the Denton County one is the health department. The Tarrant County one is also the health department. And then I believe one medical system. I have to admit, I didn't really look at that. And then the Dallas County distribution will be through the health department and through Parkland and through UT Southwestern, the medical school. So when if you have an opportunity to call and see if they still have it available, because I believe they're all three of those Dallas County ones are getting the doses today, was the expectation. There'd be about 6,000 doses. So keep in mind, there are about 3 million people in Dallas County. There'll be about 6,000 doses. So it's still going to be difficult.
It's going to be
and
really
with those
tough.
3 locations, it should be 18,000, of course, but that's still limited. Now, if you live in Collin County, you can go to any county. There's not a county restriction on receiving it. The restriction is being in Group 1A or 1B. 1A
what does
healthcare.
Yeah, okay.
Yes?
That's why I was going to say, what does that mean? Because you hear about this and people are like, well, no, this person's in this category, this is in this. Yeah, please tell us that, because I think there's a lot of questions on.
Yeah, you got to first check
How
the
do you
tattoo on
know?
your forehead to see what you are.
Yeah, I know.
And if you can't read it, then it's 1A or 1B. 1A is healthcare providers and people in the long-term healthcare institution. That is nursing home, long-term rehab, long-term ventilator care, et cetera. Group 1B is individuals over 65, which you might feel correctly would be a large number of people.
Okay.
Or people who are adults, 16 and up, close enough, who are considered to be at higher risk because of a health condition. Now, that is also an overwhelming number of people for 18,000 doses coming to Dallas County. Those conditions include diabetes, hypertension, chemotherapy, immunosuppressive disease, obesity, other long-term healthcare issue, as it can be described in a lot of ways. I've already had people asking if I can move them up in the order of getting a shot.
Right.
I cannot. No doctor can.
So
no doctor
you have
can give
no
an order
authority.
that
So
makes
do not.
their patient get the
He
shot.
doesn't.
So don't call your doctor and ask for that because
No.
but that's the thing. A lot of people are saying, "Oh well," and I'm sitting here thinking, "Oh, I'll talk to my doctor," and with asthma and with
Sure, you
high
can
blood
talk
pressure.
to them.
Why
I
not?
mean,
But
it's
they're going to
always
say
nice
we
to be
have
friendly.
no.
I love
right.
Dr.
The
Clothier. You can
challenge
talk to
is,
him.
Yeah, you
though,
can do
we
that.
can't. We are small in the system, frankly. I mean, obviously, if you have even just 75,000 doctors in Texas, if you can imagine that, let's say 40,000 are in the roughly Dallas area, and all of them say, "Oh, here's my list of 10 people who've got to get the shot." That's 400,000. There are 18,000 shots coming in. It's just not going to work. There is no specific order. And I will say, because I keep having people call about this too, is that they say if they have an order, the vaccine will be free. Well, the vaccine is free. Well, it's not free, but it's covered through the governmental fund that's been set up for it. And so the government is paying the cost of the shot. You might have the cost of administration because somebody obviously is going to need to pay the people who are out there giving the shot and such. That's usually $25 or $35. That's kind of a typical fee. And that may be covered by your insurance, but no immunization requires a specific order.
Okay.
Whether it's a flu shot, pneumonia shot, tetanus shot, they are all covered through a preventive benefit on insurance. So if you need to file, you can file. It'd be probably reimbursed, I would expect. I'm not, an insurance agent, but the process though is go get the shot and then file, see what happens. But I would really encourage you, and this is not just me speaking, but on behalf of the medical community, I would really encourage you, try not to bog down your doctor's office. We've had, a few people call a few times a day saying they need the order and whatever. There isn't an order. It's kind of like getting a COVID test. There's not an order to go get the test. You sign up online, or you sign up in person, or you stand in line and you get the test. So just kind of keep in mind that everybody almost is in the same boat of wanting the immunization. We all would love to get it soon, but it's just going to take some time to get it out there.
Now, Dr. Clothier, if I may, one of the things that I have not been able to find. So I've been out there. I've got my dad on a list. My dad definitely is a qualifier and needs to have the vaccine. And so, but I don't know, does he need to carry with him a letter that says that he has congestive heart failure, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure? Does he need...
As I recall, is he over 65?
He's not. He's 64. So he's a 1B'er.
Then that's a challenge. He could give them a list of his medicines and they'll be able to figure it out. But it's, it'd be fair if he printed out, here are my conditions. I think that's a reasonable thing too.
Okay.
For those over 65, that already qualifies as the 1B group. And so if he either had a listing of his prescriptions or even the prescriptions with him, any reasonable medical person can tell what's going on there. And, that my belief is he'd be able to get the shot on that basis.
Well, and that's what I think I'm going to do with you saying that. I'm just going to package up his prescriptions and bring them with me. One of the things I would advise people to do, and Dr. Clothier and I've talked about this in the past, do not put them in a pill dispensing unit and put them in your purse, because if you have any narcotics on you and you don't have your prescription, you will go to jail.
Yes, you will.
So please take your prescription bottle with the
that's
official.
just a real world issue. Plus, if you're going to go, let's say you stand in line, to get the shot, and you get up there and you open your pill pack and there are a bunch of white tablets. That doesn't help you as much as having the actual name, dose, and verification by prescriber. And, if the people giving the shot want to call the prescriber, see if it's real, they can. I don't think they will. I don't think there'd be any desire to slow down that process. But you're right about narcotics and other controlled substances. They are for the person only. You must prove that you have the prescription. And that's true if you go on a flight and get checked on that. They don't always check, of course. But you need to be prepared to have your own prescription. And that's true for your health or for any kind of a drug screen. I mean, at like an employer, if you have a urine drug screen and something shows up, you must have disclosed that first in order for that to be believed and for you to not look like you're, essentially a user.
Right.
So,
Right.
Dr.
yes,
Cloutier,
absolutely proper advice.
one more question from me, anyways. In regards to, like, so I go to the DSHS website, which is the Department, I can never get these right. The Texas Human and Health Services is what I call them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, when you go to their site and you go to the map and you type in your zip code, or you can move zip codes around, it'll tell you where you can go get it or who's received the doses. I don't see your office listed for that. Will your office
That
at
is
some
correct,
point be a
because-
vaccine? Okay, here we go.
Yes, that's correct, because we have not yet received it, and therefore, since we haven't received it, we cannot give it.
Gotcha.
Right.
will
So
you-
when
will you
our
have it at some
understanding
point?
is when we receive the vaccine, we will be, you know, put on the list. I don't know what the right term is. We'll be activated as a site to receive it now, to be given the shot. So at the moment, it's only the health department, UT Southwestern, and Parkland in the Dallas County area, and then health department in Denton County and Tarrant County. And again, there is not a public Collin County site
Right.
at this time. So there probably will be, I'm assuming, even maybe later in the week as more of the immunization gets distributed. Now, this is not a conspiracy, but some places are not disclosing that they have the vaccine because they are vaccinating their own people who are 1A or 1B. For instance, a nursing home may receive some immunization, but they're not going to publicly disclose that and have crowds of people come to get the shot because they're probably getting only the doses for their residents in that nursing home.
Right.
Similarly, in a health system like, say, Methodist Health System, they are first immunizing the 1A group, the people who are on the first line of care for those with COVID.
Right.
They don't want, again, large groups of people coming in sort of being upset because their doses are for the 1A group. So it's just a process of distribution that we need to understand. And I would say that makes good sense. And frankly, I appreciate it because I don't want to have to be the one who picks and says, oh, this person is a little bit more, likely to get COVID or a little more worthy of getting the immunization. We just need to work with the process that's being set up in a much bigger system than our own. And that way it's the most fair because it takes the personal side. Somebody can't say, oh, hey, I'll give you $100 to, get me moved up on the list.
No,
we
that's
don't
just
want
not
that kind of
exactly.
situation. Now, if anybody out there wants to put me in their will, that's fine. But
you can still do that. I can't move you up, though.
Yeah, I'm not going to move you up on the list because I can't. And that's actually a great sense of freedom for me because I don't have to pick and choose. The worst thing to me would be if I said, oh, I know 10 people that need the shot. And of course, I know many more. But let's say I knew 10 and there were 2 doses. And I had to say, well, you 2 get it and the other 8 of you wait. And then, 4 of those 8 get sick and 1 dies. That's
a
on
heavy
my conscience
burden.
forever.
Right. That's a heavy burden.
So that's why, we need to be as fair as we can with something like the immunization. And I do want to emphasize a couple things again. One is it's only been approved for about a month. It's amazing that we already have doses out there that have been given. And, I think it's just an incredible thing. If we could just hang on a little longer and get more people the immunization, I know we'd all be happier about that. And it is a difficult time with infection because it did peak after Christmas like we expected, or it may be still peaking from after Christmas. So stay as diligent as you can about mask wearing, social distancing, hand washing. I do want to mention a couple of little updates there. One is, the so-called fomite transmission where people were wiping down groceries or having them sit outside for 3 days or, all those things that were early in the pandemic. If you remember back in about May, that was really a trend.
It was huge.
Like, don't touch anything at a store.
Right.
Now it's well shown that the fomite risk or the picking up from a dry surface risk of the virus is nearly 0.
Okay.
Not, I'm sure it's probably not 100%. There's no 100% medicine. but it is nearly zero. So if you have a moist surface, you should clean, dry, disinfect. If it's just a regular dry surface, handle it like you would anything. I hope you don't go through the store and touch things and, then touch your mouth, whatever. But you don't have to, buy a home, UV light to blast away the cereal box before you touch it.
Well, but we thought all that at first. I mean, we talked about this with you on the show. JP and I went through the rituals we had at the gas station, at the grocery store, all these types of things.
Oh, yeah, for a day, everybody was going to die if you went and got gas because somebody said, it could be on the gas pump. And
so thank goodness that's not the
true.
case.
So let's be real about that. Now, the one thing I want to really emphasize is real, and that is wearing a mask. We all went through this phase where we thought, well, the mask won't keep you from getting the disease. Still true. But the mask will keep you from spreading the disease as much as you would otherwise. And I know people hate masks. I know that people have mixed, various political feelings about the mask. A lot of people thought the masking would go away the day after the election. It didn't. I will just cite two quick studies that I think are very interesting. One was in Journal of the American Medical Association on Friday, showed 59% of the proven spread of COVID came from an asymptomatic spreader. So that asymptomatic spreader could wear a mask, reduce that risk to others greatly. And that they stated that they can only prove 59%. They believe the number is higher. So keep in mind, even if you feel great, look great, everything, you're doing fine, you breathe great, you could still spread the virus because you could be an asymptomatic spreader. My theory on that is that coronavirus has been around a long time. And I think a lot of people who have had common colds and such have some degree of immunity, but they could still carry the virus. And that's going to still be true for a while with the immunization, because the immunization will impart an immune response. If you get the virus, then your body can attack it appropriately and hopefully fend it off and you'll be fine. But that doesn't mean that you don't carry the virus during that time your body is fighting off that infection. So that's just something to keep in mind. Wearing a mask really helps. The other study, just want to throw it in real quickly, was an observational study in Kansas. That in Kansas, they allowed the counties to decide whether masks were required or not. In all the counties that required a mask, case counts went down. In those counties that did not require a mask, the case counts went up. And I think, to me, that's pretty good evidence there.
That's telling. So, Dr. Clothier, let me shift you real quick. I know that we're just about at 8 o'clock. The flu virus. Have we seen the flu go down? This is a question from one of our listeners. Have we seen the flu go down this year because of the safety precautions? Or is it still where it normally is? And what are we seeing with flu season?
Okay, that is an excellent question. First, the cases are down somewhat. And that probably is because of mask wearing and social distancing, people staying home instead of going out to big groups, less of a mixing of people. So as we would expect with most any infectious disease, especially those that are airborne, like influenza, which by definition is an airborne virus. Don't confuse influenza with a stomach bug. People call, when they vomit for a day, have a 24-hour bug, they call it stomach flu. That's a misnomer. It is not stomach influenza. It's a stomach virus of a different category. But anyway, with influenza, the cases are down so far because probably, again, the masking, the social isolation or social distancing, and the washing of hands that has taken over, taken high priority for people. The second issue is that we often see the flu peak in February, and it's obviously only January. So we don't really know the final count on that. The third issue, and I know this has been brought to my attention by some patients who've asked, why are there zero flu cases and nobody talking about how we've, defeated the flu or whatever? The health department is literally so overworked and overwhelmed with coronavirus that they have decided not to log and report influenza cases this year. So it's not that there are no influenza cases, it's that they are not being tracked in followed this year because there simply is not the manpower to do so.
Boy, and that's really a
keep in
shame
mind,
because
if you're in a
that's
group,
that's
let's say your
valuable.
church
That's
has been
valuable
meeting
data.
for, with masks on and sign-ups and whatever, like many are doing, and there are 250 people there. If there's one person who gets COVID and tests positive, it is the obligation of the health department to track that with those 250 other people, 249 others who are there with that person. That's one reason there are signups at a lot of gatherings like that, because the health department needs that information to track cases. So they are so overwhelmed with COVID that they are not tracking influenza. So if you see a county health report that says 4,600 COVID cases, 0 influenza cases, it's not that there's no flu. It's that it's not being reported this year.
So interestingly enough, we have one of the crew members. His wife is a nurse, and she had a patient that they tested, came back COVID-19 positive, but then they also tested for the flu and came back influenza B positive. Are we still giving the flu test if someone comes up positive for COVID-19?
It's an individual decision by the doctor or the ER, the clinic, whatever person that individual encounters for testing. But the answer would be almost always yes. I know our protocol, if somebody is sick, would be if we were able to offer the acute test for COVID, which currently we're still not able to get them and do that. But if we had that, we would do a flu test with it nearly always, because there is such a crossover of symptoms, and there is different treatment. Keep in mind, with influenza, there are antivirals that reduce the length of the symptoms and help you recover more quickly, unlike COVID that, we're still working on that type of treatment. So often people would be tested for both. A big concern for everyone in healthcare has been what would happen if somebody had COVID and influenza and, maybe even a very severe case of each. Then that's something, we have not had the opportunity yet to encounter, because this is our first winter flu season with the knowledge of COVID and the ability to test for it. Even people who maybe are certain they had COVID last December and January, and there's more and more gathering of evidence that that's likely been true based on antibodies and blood tests, results from blood donors and such. There still wasn't any acute tests until late March. And so nobody knew if anybody had it back then. And, so we didn't know we were maybe cross-treating influenza and COVID. This year, we have more ability to test for that. So I would say it's very likely that individuals would be tested for both if they have symptoms that fit that.
Well, Dr. Clothier, I cannot thank you enough
Fantastic
as well.
information.
In the crew, tons of
Fantastic.
people saying thank you, Dr. C,
Yes.
for all of the information. And so,
I mean, my text messages have blown up today, and thank you so much for that information. It's there's so much misinformation out. I thought up until I talked to you today that it was if you're 50 or above and you had an issue like high blood pressure or diabetes or something like that. One of our listeners to the show today said, I just turned 50, but I've got diabetes and I'm overweight. Then they were like, "Oh, never
They
mind."
qualify.
No, over
Well,
50.
that
Yeah.
does
1B
fit.
qualifies. You
That's
qualify.
is 1B is 1B.
Right, you're a
Yeah,
1B-er.
it's 65 and over, period.
For everybody, yeah.
Or
Right.
an adult with
Right.
other risk factors.
Right.
Right.
And so,
So
diabetes and
thank-
obesity are two well-identified risk factors at this
So
point.
thank you
But I'm very honored
much.
that, it's helpful to people. I hope we can
Huge.
continue to provide sound information and reasonable information. And I'd really encourage you, keep up the efforts at social distancing, asking about symptoms before, if you have family coming over, be honest about symptoms. Don't risk it. Keep washing hands, keep wearing that mask, pay attention, just do everything you can when you get the immunization, which many of you out there listening will, I believe, within the next 3 months or so, as the supply becomes more available. Realize that it's not perfect. It's not going to be something that, keeps you ever from getting the disease, but it should dramatically reduce numbers and hopefully keep this from being the literal pandemic it is. You remember the term pandemic means infection found essentially everywhere. And what we're trying to do, of course, is minimize that to where it's a more isolated situation, a more rare situation, not 7% of all Americans as it is right now. And those are just high numbers. And we got to be realistic about that and do our own due diligence in getting that to come down.
Absolutely. Francis Cliff says, thank you for the info.
Yes.
Michelle Butler says, great info. So again, Dr. Clothier,
We
thank
really
you
appreciate
so
you.
much, and have a very blessed day.
God bless you,
Very
Dr.
good.
Clothier.
You too.
Thanks.
Talk to you Monday.
All right. If
Bye.
you can, Chambrio,
Boy,
please go
that's
over
good
to
info.
my page if I'm still connected to Switcher, and let's bring it on. By the way, I just got word President Donald Trump will be calling in at 8:10 this morning.
Excellent.
And we're going to talk about his trip to Abilene.
Bingo.
So there you go. Yeah. All right. So be waiting for that. I'm excited.
Well, and you know,
I can barely speak. I'm so excited about the president right here on JP Kathy and the Crew.
and I'm going to say
Am
I'm
I
in
still
the
connected or
I'm
not?
in the dark on this,
What
so
am
I
I
have
on?
no idea what JP is
I'm
talking
on the
about.
chat. So if you can still see me, I'm going to go ahead and switch over now to the state's website.
While you're pulling that up,
There we
I
go.
am disappointed, and I get it. I understand we've got limited resources on employees and things of that nature. I really think that flu information would be so critically important this year.
But we have overwhelmed our medical
I get it,
professionals.
and I get it. When we did Christmas Eve service, we had to sign up, and I'm assuming that's because they knew there would be a certain amount of people in the church at that point in time. So you had to sign up ahead of time, and again, that's
Right.
how they capture your information. So,
So
Yeah.
what you see on your screen is the Texas Department of Health and Human Services. You can go to their website, and it tells you how to qualify for the vaccine. It shows you where they're at in their supply chain. If you continue to scroll down, it'll give you a very clear picture of how you qualify. For example, I qualify because I'm pregnant, and so I can go. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not true.
rewind.
But the obesity and severe obesity body mass. So I qualify.
Yep.
So I think Dad and I'll go together.
Yep.
Then how do I get one? It tells you how to go about getting one. And I'm going to click on this link over here. It said that it's Texas COVID-19 vaccine availability map.
Right.
Click on that. And this is going to bring you to the map where you can type in
Your zip code.
your zip code.
Okay.
And I've done this. First, it shows the big Texas map.
As a matter of fact, we'll put this link on
the feed.
on our feed, because I think this is very helpful and can answer some of those questions, so you're not bombarding the doctor's offices who have still other illnesses and other issues going on. So we don't want to slam the phone lines kind of a thing.
So here we go. If you'll notice, I typed in 75409 for Anna, Texas. Well, it brings up all kinds of other places that are possible too. So I click on Anna, Texas, and then it will bring up a list and zero in on Anna, Texas. And it tells me which groups have gotten the vaccine. That way you don't bombard your doctor's offices. And so you can see here as I go through the list, all the different places. Now you can call these places and ask them, do you have the vaccine available? A lot of them are putting it on their website. Like I'm on a list for Baylor Scott and White. I'm on a list for the Medical Center of Frisco and McKinney for my dad, on the Collin County list. I call
And it's kind of
Brookshire's.
whoever comes up first.
Correct.
That's where you go.
And I call Brookshire's on a daily basis to see if they've gotten any new vaccines.
Right.
But they also have this stuff on their website.
Right.
Now, where I'm going to probably end up, and this came from friends telling me about it, I'm now at the HEB website,
That's
which is the
where
grocery store.
I've got family members looking there.
So here's the thing, right? This is the one in Ennis, Texas. So you're not confined geographically
If you're a Collin County person.
right.
Right.
And it may be other counties as well. I don't know, but all I can speak of is where I'm at.
And you can check that's on the site as well. So hey, if you're in Dallas County, well, you can't go anywhere else, kind of a thing.
So you see the SE or the FAQs. Recommend you go there. Right now, the store that I want to go to in Ennis does not have the COVID-19 vaccine. They're out right now.
Right.
And it will say
Now,
that.
last night, y'all could have gone at 5:30.
Victoria, Texas still
Right.
has
Okay.
some vaccines. So if you want to drive 320 miles from here to Victoria, Texas.
There's some, you might, if you're in a situation where you've got family who's retired or something of that nature.
Make your day trip.
Hey, you may do a little road trip, leave in the morning, turn back around and come back at night. Educate. I think what Dr. Clothier, he gave great information, but I think part of that is you take the responsibility to educate yourself.
Right. So real quick before the president comes on, let me know when the president's on with us.
I'm really concerned about
you
what
sent him
JP
the
has
link,
up his
right?
sleeve.
Yeah. President Trump's going to be on the line with us. I mean,
All right,
so
JP.
we're in phase 1, phase 1A,
love it.
phase 1B, and you'll notice that on this site they've got it where in the gray it says we are currently out of vaccine allocations. To schedule new appointments, please check back. Same thing for phase 1A and phase 1B. When you go down, then it tells you what phase 1C is and what phase 2 is. And right now, of course, that's not happening. That's why it's grayed out. So I will continue to come back to this website, check it throughout the day. As soon as they get vaccines, I'm scheduling.
Busting a move,
Yeah,
yeah.
so that I can get my dad down there and on there. Oh, the president's with us.
Dun,
Mr. President.
Dun, 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 dun,
Go ahead, you got
dun,
this.
dun.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
there we go.
There you go.
And we did it.
Mr. President, can you hear us?
Oh, who is this going to be?
Do you have the president active, or has he been censored by Twitter, Facebook, and Google?
I think we're probably now off the air.
Yeah, the president's not going to come on video. He's wanting to stay secretive.
Oh, I am very scared about this.
Mr. President, can you hear us? Mr. President, we know you are super good with electronics, and just unmute yourself, Mr. President. We know that you are absolutely stressed out with what's going on with Parler. Mr. President.
Hello there. How are you?
Mr. President, thank you so much for joining JP, Kathy, and the crew this morning. We are so blessed to have you.
Good to be here. Love you, Sean. Love you, all the support you've given me over the time. You and Mark Levin have been awesome.
So, Mr. President, have you gotten any
You
sleep?
have on.
President Donald Trump, be respectful now. Have you been able to get
Yes.
any sleep with Twitter and Facebook doing what they're doing to you?
I have more free time on my hands now. I'm getting a lot done. I've taken up arts and crafts. Very exciting arts and crafts. You're going to be hearing about it soon.
Is that what you were doing in Abilene, Mr. President? We've gotten the inside word that you and Kanon were in Abilene together.
Yes, we were there having a big arts and crafts festival. It was huge. Biggest arts and crafts festival of all time.
Did you
Ask anybody who was there.
did you
Okay.
make anything for Nancy Pelosi?
Yes.
Yes, a big giant wooden middle finger.
Oh my God. Okay,
Mr.
I know
President,
who
that's a
this is
class
now.
act. So, Kathy, do you have any questions for the President of the United States, Donald Trump?
Yes. Yes, the next first lady, because I'm divorcing Melania for Kathy. She's hot.
That's what I've heard, Mr. President.
Now I know who this is. Okay.
It's the president.
Yeah.
What is
Melania got a little long in the tooth. Had to dump her. Had enough.
Oh
Had
my
to dump her.
goodness.
So, but now, Kathy, do you have any questions for the president?
No, I'm stumped.
Oh, she's stumped. So, Mr. President, I've got one more question.
Yes,
Elon, the idiot, is going to file the articles of impeachment today. Have you and Rudy set out a strategy to deal with Elon, the idiot, and AOC, the moron?
Yes, first of all, AOC going to make us some Irish car bombs. Very thirsty. We need to get a buzz going before we tackle this, me and Rudy. And I have to wipe his head to get that stuff off his forehead. It was kind of messy.
So what is your response to the
True
articles?
True story. Actually, the whole thing with Rudy's head looked like the Exxon Valdez. We had to clean up ducks. It was very exciting. Go on.
Oh my gosh. Oh, y'all are a mess.
Well, Mr. President, good luck in your articles of impeachment. You know that we're with you, and we wish you the best. And I look forward to the breakup.
And we do wish Donald Trump the best, and we are with him.
And
I've got a question for you two.
Yeah.
I ask you both a question.
Yeah.
Since this bit is going nowhere, I might as well just let it go down in flames totally. Here's my question for you. why does it look like Bernie Sanders combed his hair with a balloon?
That's a good question,
Oh,
Mr.
he's kind of got
President.
that static
He
electricity
does, yeah,
kind of
he
thing.
does, and I think that it may have something to do with the helium that he ingests on a daily basis.
And AOC could have been a Miss Universe, but she blew her chances. Forget it, honey. You're going nowhere.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mr. President, if you could, could you pass the mic over to Chris O'Sullivan? I wanted to ask him about Tommy Lasorda.
That idiot, what would you want to talk to him for? It's all about me. Look, in another week, I'm going to be forgotten about. Nobody's going to be talking about me. Even Mark Burnett's not going to put me on another Apprentice.
No,
Please don't kick me out of here.
Who is this again? Who do we have on
Oh,
our
I think they're all going to want, everybody's going to want President Trump on their show. I think even the late night shows are going to be desperate for some ratings.
I mean, Sleepy Joe Biden, what's he going to give us? Liver spots? Boring.
I think that's what he's going to give us. I think I've already got some right now.
I swear he has liver spots that look like colonies. It's not good.
It's not good. Jumping Joe Biden. There you
All
go.
right, I'll go get the mic for you. Hold on. Hey,
Okay.
stupid.
Thanks.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Hey, Chris. Thank you for coming on with us. We had the president. I had to keep you in the waiting room.
Yeah, I know. He came to visit. It was a thing. The Twitter. He can't go on anything anymore. He can't even get onto MySpace.
Why not?
MySpace. Oh my God.
It's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. He's bored, and he's calling me a lot. God, give him his Twitter back, please. He's calling me a lot.
Give him his Twitter back. Well, I'll tell you, one of the things I did want to reflect on with you, Chris, is Tommy Lasorda's passing.
By the way, Happy New Year to you both.
Happy New Year to you, too,
Happy New
Chris.
Year to you and your families.
Yeah.
This is our first time to have you back on since and Happy New Year to you and blessings to you, Chris. We love you. We miss you.
Yep, we sure do. So, Tommy Lasorda, man, let's talk a little baseball.
Yeah, may rest in peace. God bless him.
I said this to you on Facebook on Friday. It's sad, but to live the life that Tommy Lasorda lived.
Yeah.
God, come on. I mean, I'm sad, but I'm also celebrating because you have to celebrate somebody who gets to live a life like that.
Absolutely.
That's the life they wanted to lead, which I'm sure it was. He devoted his life to baseball. So,
and Chris, he was not. I believe he was 93. Was he 90? Yeah, 93. And and not that you ever want, when you have a loved one or you have somebody like, we all, and I know you and JP are huge fans of Tommy Lasorda. When you respect and admire somebody, you want them to live to be 125. But you're right. What an amazing life. He got to do what he loved every day.
Did we lose him? Oh, Chris, you got muted again. Well, I'll tell you, the years that I loved with Tommy Lasorda.
There we go. That was my fault.
There you
go. So, one day I'll learn how to use this, Zoom, whatever. Anyway, but, for him, he actually lived his life, and not just for baseball, but it looked like he celebrated life. He lived life the way people should live life. He had fun. He met the ups and downs, and, that just says a lot about the guy. I mean, in the outpouring from the baseball community, the immediate outpouring, it reminded me of Ernie Harwell when he had passed away.
Right.
And the quick response there was to that. And that's when you know you've touched lives, when everybody just pauses for a minute, given all this craziness that's going on right now. And it was just kind of, it really speaks to the volume of the person when they can, they can speak and do things in life that people immediately reflect on in a positive nature. And that, I think, Tommy represented that greatly.
I do, too.
Very well said.
Well, and Chris, if you could name one player that he managed, who do you think was his best player he ever managed?
That's not a fair question.
Yeah, I know. Well, I know. But
That's not an easy one to answer.
See, I've got one in my head.
Piazza would be in that list.
Who did you say?
Mike Piazza.
Mike Piazza.
Yeah.
He actually, because that was his godson. And
I
he
did
got
not
him a
know
tryout
that.
Got him a tryout with the Dodgers, and I remember his first big league game. Actually, Piazza was against the Cubs in Wrigley, and he stood out. And everybody, I remember Harry Carey, may he rest in peace, also saying this kid is going to go to the Hall of Fame one day. I mean,
Yeah.
and Harry never did that on the air, but this kid has the ability to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, there's been so many. Steve Sachs, Pedro Guerrero, and I know I'm really going. Fernando
Well, see,
Valenzuela,
and
would be
that's
another
my
one.
guy. So you mentioned that. If I
Is
had
that
to pick,
who's yours?
if I had to pick a player, it would have been Fernando Valenzuela. I mean, this guy hit baseball fast and hard and delivered. No offense, Chris, against your Yankees.
Oh no,
Against
he did.
Mr.
No,
Baseball.
he brought the
Yeah,
cheese.
yeah.
He brought the fire. I mean, listen, you can't look all the rivalry stuff away. You can't take away from what Venezuela did. You can't take. I mean, there's just so much
Yeah,
rich
you
hit in L.A.
Yeah, Dusty
During
Baker.
the Lasorda years. Or Hershiser would be another one.
Yeah.
And by the way, and I
yeah,
just watched it on MLB Network, they were reflecting on the Gibson home run from '88 off Eckersley in Game 1 of the World Series at Dodger Stadium. And, apparently Gibby had some doubts, and Tommy said, go up there and do what you can. And he hit it out. And, that was just, I think, and especially in Gibson's case, where he literally cannot walk, literally.
Right.
And he gives Gibson the courage to go up there and just swing away. And he delivered one of the most memorable home runs in the late 20th century in any World Series game. That is still replayed to this day, by the way.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So, you see a guy like Tommy Lasorda who believed in his players, believed in his community, and believed in just people. That has to be that's just remarkable. I mean, it really is, because I think nowadays there's not enough champions and heroes for our fellow man. You don't cheer
Amen.
each other on the way Tommy Lasorda cheered on his players, his community, anybody who came into well, maybe not the Philly fanatic, but other than that,
Right.
he celebrated and revered everybody. He is what we call life. This is what life should be.
Right.
And I hope with his passing, we can reflect on all the good he did. He has some stuff, I'm pretty sure, that, wasn't great, but that's what we do in life. We learn from our mistakes. And he was just so full of life. And I hope for people now, like I said, for everything we're seeing in the world today, I hope people can take a moment and say, you know what, maybe I could adopt some of that. Maybe I can pull for the other guy, even though I may not agree with him, because that's sure as hell what Tommy did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, just a stand-up guy.
Yeah. So let me shift you over to football. Big game tonight. Alabama, Ohio State. I can't stand either squads. But if you
Big game
if
that
you,
we will not be watching.
yeah, if you got to pick one, which one
You
do
know
you go
what?
with?
Yeah, watch this. Are you both sitting down?
I am sitting down.
Uh-oh, we are. That kind of makes me nervous.
Grab onto something, because I'm about to send you with a shocking statement. As an avid Wolverine fan who hates the Buckeyes, like I hate the smell of Brussels
you're not
sprouts
going to do
or
it.
cabbage.
You're not going to do it.
Wait, what is happening?
He's always not
Are
going
you
to
about
do
to
it.
say what I think you're about to say?
I have to pull for I'm going to throw up. Ohio State.
Oh, he did it. That's as bad as saying you're a Sparty. Oh, my God.
Chris!
No. I am sick of Alabama being shoved down my throat year after year with college football. It's like it's a mandate. They have to win a championship or at least play in it.
I was going to pay for you to get a Roll Tide tattoo, man. Come on.
Here's what I want. I want Woody Hayes to come down and stick a lightning bolt up their tuchus on Alabama's side. And I kept it clean, by the way.
You did.
I can't believe I said those words. But I hate Alabama that much now. I hate them more than I hate Ohio State. And that's hatred.
Because
By the way,
never,
for the record, I don't hate Ohio State.
No, I know. But in all the years I've known you, the JP and I have known you, we've never heard you throw a kind word Ohio's way. So, wow.
Well, Bo Schembechler's proud of you.
That's big.
Well, that's right.
He's voting for Ohio State, too.
Yeah. No, I make all the jokes about Ohio State, but, Michigan and Ohio State fans will always say one thing they could agree on is they love and respect the rivalry.
Right.
But, and everybody knows it's just for fun. But Alabama, oh, God, I am so sick of having the SEC shoved down my throat.
Well, I'll tell you what
year
I would have liked.
after year.
I wish Oklahoma had made the cut.
Yeah, so do I.
Man, they destroyed Florida, and Florida nearly beat Alabama the week before.
Yeah.
And so I think the Big
That
12
would have been a great game.
Yeah, I think the Big 12 got the hind booby on that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's, and again, we're TV, and TV contracts play into this now, which is stupid.
Yeah.
Alabama has developed, I like to call it the New York Yankee Notre Dame syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
Where people want to tune in to see them lose. And that's why they get the ratings now. People want to see them lose because they're that successful. Look, I'm not going to take anything away from Nick Saban. He's been successful with that program. He deserves the accolades.
Yes.
He's getting. Absolutely.
Love him or hate him. Yeah, you do have to give big props there.
I tip the hat to him. Yes. But it's not just Alabama. I'm tired. It's every year after year after year. The SEC. It's like we really got to look at super conferences. 10 to super conferences. We go to a tournament format, and if Notre Dame doesn't like that, they could take their TV contract and kiss my Irish. You know what? Enough, because that's the only thing holding that up right now is Notre Dame's TV deal, because they won't join a conference.
Well, so let's ask that question before I jump to pro football. Will Notre Dame be pushed into a conference due to COVID? I mean, they kind of joined the ACC this year.
I don't know. I mean, regardless of COVID, they're going to have to at some point. Because I'm sorry, you can't keep playing Navy, Army, Grand Prairie Central Community College, and then expect to be in the national title. I want to see them playing real schools. Like, I want to see them playing Michigan regularly, Ohio State, whatever, Big 12. I don't care. Like in Oklahoma, they have to start playing real schools, because you know what? As long as they're on an independent schedule, they're going to be nothing more than a paper champion. Whereas, like University of Texas, they have to play real schools to prove they're a champion. And we're here, when you got the Notre Dame situation, they don't have to do that. And that really rubs me the wrong way. So, just my opinion, I could be wrong.
No, I mean, that's the way it is, though. I mean, and it's going to be curious. I'm curious to see, truly, if COVID-19 pushes Notre Dame into a conference. I think that may be the only thing that does it, is something like this.
Yeah, that all depends how long COVID's around. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just right now, who knows on that deal, but it's going to be one of those things where, they're going to have to start looking at this sooner than later, not just doing it did this past year, looking at it like 3 weeks out and go, oh, okay, we'll just put them in the ACC, no problem. The NCAA really does need a better contingency plan, how they're going to handle this fall.
Yeah.
And, kind of get an idea, start outlining areas where they need to work now so they can have a better plan come, kickoff in September.
Well,
I mean, look, where we are in sports right now, I mean, we don't know when baseball's coming back.
Right.
Hockey, yay, coming back Wednesday.
Thank goodness, yes. Super excited about that.
Yeah. Yeah, and so, and I know people here in Dallas are excited about the Stars this year, and they should be.
They should be, absolutely.
Be up there. Yeah, even though I've already made my NHL picks for this upcoming Stanley Cup final, unfortunately, Dallas is not in that final scenario. But right now, like I said, Notre Dame, that's going to be the one school where you're going to have to look at to see, not just for the COVID phase, but for the long term, what do you do with them?
Well,
how do we make this work so we could break up the SEC monopoly?
Yep, something's got to happen, that's for sure. Well, before we switch over to the NFL, I want to just let you know, Chris, tonight I will be watching, instead of the national championship, the Canadian curling tryouts.
Is that on tonight?
I will find it.
I bought the streaming all year access pass. Oh, you have no idea how excited I am for that.
Well, Canadian curling tryouts, they are at the top of my sporting list when it comes to Ohio State or Alabama. So, there you go.
Now, in that one, I would have to take Lake Superior State. They look good this year.
They do look good this year. I'm with you,
Yeah.
although I am looking for the Yukon territory.
Those high school, they had a great recruiting year for curling there at Lake Superior State. Sky's the limit for them. They can go to the Final Four easily.
Sky's the
limit.
limit.
Igloo somewhere in Saskatchewan.
Ooh, that'll be good. I want to see what the All-American curling team does in an international debut against them. Curling is,
You got to watch.
it's tough.
You know what? Funny story. And I'm not even kidding. When I grew up in Detroit, we had this network because I lived across the river from Canada. So we used to get the CBC. And every Saturday, right before hockey night in Canada, if it wasn't championship dominoes falling, you got curling. I kid you not. For 3 hours.
Wow. So that was legit.
Curling. Yeah, I mean, it's believe it or not, curling is a national pastime in Canada, not hockey.
Oh, yeah, it is. Well, curling's
Curling-
huge. That's why I said
know
Canada.
I know it's big, but even bigger than hockey?
Yeah, I need Red Bull and caffeine
Just
directly.
I know.
I'm like, who's curling? What? Where's curling
Yeah.
at?
It's fascinating to watch, though. There's something about it that kind of sucks you in.
Grown men and women brushing behind
I
a
don't
discus.
know.
Yeah,
It
I'm
just
sorry.
sucks you in.
I'm not grabbed. So NFL, man, any surprises over the weekend?
Yeah, Cleveland won a game in the playoffs.
I know. Tell me
Go
about it.
Browns!
Boy,
Yeah,
the Steelers looked horrible.
Wow.
Yeah, the Steelers looked like the Lions.
Yeah.
It was just that should not have happened. I mean, listen, the Steelers, they had the hot start. What was it, 11-0, and then they just, when they just collapsed. And I really believe that's because they got a little too cocky. They got complacent, and the other teams do watch the film. So
Right.
when you get that, time's up. And the Browns came ready to play, and
They were hungry,
Oh,
and we talk about
they
this in
were
the
hungry.
playoffs. If you come and you're hungry during the playoffs, anything can happen, and that was proven during this game.
Well, yeah, and there's no defense in this game.
No.
And what
There were
what did they
85.
have?
There were 85
it was a
points
classic
scored.
shootout.
Yeah.
Yeah, classic
Yeah.
shootout. So here's the next big question: Browns take on the Chiefs. Do the Browns have the momentum to take down the Super
Ooh,
Bowl
Michelle's
champs?
watching.
No.
don't
But I
think
do
so.
think they give them a run for their money. I don't think it's going to be a walkover. You know what I mean?
You think it'll be a
I think the Browns
competitive
can
game?
I think they could keep it competitive.
Okay.
I think it'll
okay.
be a shootout. I don't think the Chiefs' defense is good enough to keep them down.
Okay,
So I think it'll be a
interesting.
shootout.
What it is
Yeah,
that game next
I mean,
Sunday.
Next Sunday, okay.
So
if somehow Pat Mahomes gets the wrong directions to the stadium, then I give the Browns a shot. Other than that,
yeah.
we'll have to see. But right now, I'm liking Kansas City to take this whole thing again. I don't see much of anybody standing in their way right now.
Well, the only thing that I could see is if the Packers stay hot and Aaron Rodgers continues to defy his age. That's what I can see. It's like Aaron Rodgers is a Brett Favre.
Or a Tom Brady.
Right,
now.
or a Tom Brady. And I was going to go there next.
Yeah, Tom Brady.
Man,
wow.
Buccaneers make it to the divisional
Wow.
round. When was the last time we saw the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the divisional round?
Nobody can
But if
bust
he-
Brady's
I-
chops, man. That guy
actually,
still has it.
It was the time when they beat the Raiders Super Bowl, I think. And I'm being serious. I think that was it. I could be wrong, but
No,
if I had to guess.
I think that's it too. I mean, and here we've got Tom Brady now carrying in the Buccaneers on his back against
He
the
has 'em
Saints.
pumped.
The Saints didn't look very good against the Bears. The Bears missed so many opportunities to keep that game closer than the 21-9 score. Do you see the Buccaneers taking down the Saints?
Yes.
I do too. I'm with you.
Yeah. If you're that vulnerable, and not to, poo-poo on the Bears here, but if you're that vulnerable against a semi-okay Chicago Bears team, what do you think a really good Tampa Bay team is going to do to you?
Yeah, and I think that they've got some momentum. I think they've got some attitude. They haven't been here in a long time. I could very easily see Tom Brady carrying the Buccaneers into the next round. All right, so Rams, Packers. Do the Rams surprise the Packers?
No. I think, like you said, I think Aaron Rodgers is getting to the end of his career, and so this might be his one last shot to at least try to go out on top, maybe get one more ring. So And I'd like to see that for him. I think he's a great quarterback, and he's going to the Hall of Fame. That's for
there's no doubt. Yeah,
there. But I think honestly, I think the Rams need some retooling a bit before they can get back into championship consideration. But yeah, I think the Packers take that one.
Okay, Ravens, Bills. I mean, you've got the young guys who don't know any different
I
in the Buffalo Bills
on that.
Taking on the Ravens. A little bit older team, a little more seasoned. Do the Bills continue their march into the playoffs? Almost lost to the Indianapolis Colts.
I think the Bills will be fine. I think the Bills take this one.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to size up. I
actually think if there's going to be a spoiler in the AFC, it's going to be Buffalo against Kansas City. I really do. I think if there's going to be a spoiler, it'll be Buffalo.
Well, and let's talk about the Washington for a moment. They actually were respectable, even though the NFC East was horrible this year in their playoff game. I mean, the Buccaneers win 31-23. I watched part of that game, and I thought, Washington played pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, look, given everything they've gone through the last year, and I think it was, I was proud of them. Even though, they got into the playoffs with a record I don't think they should be in the playoffs with, but they still, they held their own. And, I think honestly, if you're, I almost said Redskins, if you're a Washington fan, I think you hold your head high because there was a lot of signals on this team for improvement that, they're in the right direction finally. Now, if Dan Snyder can let these guys do their job and not micromanage them, i.e. Jerry Jones, they might have.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is.
Let them do their jobs and let them play the way they know how to play. They're gonna, they're gonna show you something, and I think that's the thing you're looking at with Washington, is they're gonna be able to. They're gonna have to show people, we can just come out here and play and do our thing. So that's what you're down to right now. Is you're gonna have to look at something like that. But give them time. I think Washington, even next year, is going to be a big time contender. So just something to keep an eye on.
All right. Well, hey, Chris, thank you so much, and
we love you, Chris.
Thank you for connecting the president with us this morning.
Yes, thank you so much.
And it was so nice to know that he was doing arts and crafts in Abilene. Thank you for that.
Yeah, well, he wants to. I mean, he did ask me what's Kathy's marital status. I go, look, she's happily married. He goes, how much to get rid of the bomb? I go, no, Mr. President, it doesn't work that way. She's devoted to her husband, love family. And she can't operate she has a hard time on one of those scooters.
Exactly.
She does have a hard time with
boy, howdy, that truer words could not be spoken.
And then I was trying to set him up with other women. Well, I go, what about Rosie O'Donnell? He was like, who? So, he was very happy to. I think he's on his way back to Washington. Apparently, he's going to be talking about big tech today.
Oh.
I hear he's not happy.
Yeah, I've heard that.
We're about to talk about that a little ourselves. Yes.
So, yeah, these are what we like to call interesting times, and we only have 9 more days left in his presidency. That's a lot of time for busy headlines.
Yeah, there really is.
And you would think, God, Nancy Pelosi, yeah. We'll be talking about her in a second, too. Did you catch her interview last night?
Here's my thing. Let's just go through this. Let's just say you got him, okay? He's 9 days left. Even Mitch McConnell's like, we can't take this in 9 days. So my question is, why are you going through all this, considering the worst he's going to do at this point is go after Iran, which, who knows? But other than that, he's not going to do anything. He's running the clock out, basically.
Exactly.
I think honestly, my opinion, I think he wants gone. I think he wants out of there. I think he's had enough.
God bless him. I've never seen a president treated, and it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. I have literally never seen a president treated the way he was treated, and I think history will show that even under immense scrutiny, immense pressure, battling it out with Nancy Pelosi. I mean, she's been out gunning for him since the second he got elected. He was able to accomplish a lot of good things for our country, and again, put us back in the mindset of America first in America, which is the way it should be.
And listen, and all those troublemakers last week who were caught, trust me, there's some on the conspiracy level, which I don't give those clowns the time of day. I think they're idiots. But there's already conspiracy theories going out there that he's going to pardon all these people who are being caught.
No.
This is still his Justice Department.
No.
His Justice Department, with his appointed Attorney General, they are rounding these people up quick.
They are.
And they're not. And I love it.
Yeah, there's somebody
animals to justice.
Well, absolutely. The guy who was one of the guys who made it to the dais. He was from, if I understood what I heard this morning correctly, from Grand Prairie. Felt the pressure, knew the heat was on, went ahead and turned himself in. So, and if somebody heard or has read that story differently, please let me know. But yeah, I mean, there have already been arrests made. They're continuing to make arrests, and let me tell you, they've got very clear pictures of the folks who were there with the intentions of ill will or whatever. You know, one of the guys got caught, had a whole bunch of zip ties on him. Well,
yeah.
What reason, unless you're moving or you're putting up yard signs, you're political, why would you need a bunch of zip ties?
No.
You know,
by the way,
yeah, he's bringing these folks to justice.
Here's my thing. You know, everybody and I'm sorry, this guy Lynn Wood, the so-called attorney in Georgia, I don't know why Treasury has not locked him up yet. This guy was calling for a firing squad on the Vice President of the United States. He needs to get locked up. I mean, it's time to start taking these mental cases and putting them away.
Well,
because they do not need to be on the street.
Well, and I don't care where people have their political affiliation. You've got these extremists on both sides, and then some people who I don't know whose side they belong to, because they don't follow a political philosophy. They're just kind of like, hey, let's burn it all down. And again, you know, I'm not saying they're even affiliated at this point. These are people who really truly aren't affiliated with one party or the other. If you have ill will, ill intentions towards the United States, we've got a problem. In another country, they take you out and stone you in the middle of the street. They take you out in the front of the firing squad. Yeah. So,
and by the way,
bring these people to the justice that the American people deserve to see.
And you know, and I can't believe I'm going to say it this way, but if this were Iran, those people would have already been hanging. They would have had the just comfortable process of due process like we do in this country. So, you know, it's just something to think about before next time some idiots want to storm a Capitol. You know, we may not be the most perfect system in the world, but we are the best system in the world.
Amen.
And we should recognize and appreciate that.
Amen. And heck, we'll be
a lot of countries you end up dead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, we'll be in JP and I, we've been talking kind of about some of the different things that people can do who feel like they don't have any control right now, what you can do. Heck, you know, Texas legislative session kicks off tomorrow. Lots can be done, you know, during that time. And then if we look at it, you know, people will be announcing, heck, in August, September for sure, who will be running in the different primaries, which will be next March, or you know, a year from this March, or in that time frame, depending on the state you're in. So get behind a candidate. There are city council, school board, and in some cities, mayoral races that are going to be happening in May. You can make a difference now, and keep tuning in to JP, Kathy, and the crew.
You know what?
I'll tell you how.
You know, this is unbelievable because you just said, and I'm gonna look. I'll give the man his due on this statement. President Obama even said, if you want to make a change, you got to get involved.
Yep.
And that's absolutely true. It doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum. If you don't like something, get involved, change it.
Right.
You have a voice just as much as the president, down to the lowly, I don't want to say lowly, but down right to, you know, the congressional aides, everybody who's involved in this thing. You know, you have a voice too. Don't be ashamed or afraid to use it. You have that right. That's what people have fought and died for. Use that damn voice. Speak up.
Well,
you know, and my only hope from all of this, is that it could serve as an opportunity. Maybe we have to stop with the tribalism, the political tribalism that lives in this country. It has lived too long in this country.
Well, and part of
It's
the
when you decide.
part of the issue, Chris,
Go ahead.
if you've got so you've got people saying they want to call for unity, and let's just take a pause. Let's let the transition happen from one president to the other. There are going to be people who believe what they believe, no matter what, and that's fine. But at this
Right.
point, if Nancy Pelosi continues to push and shove this impeachment down the
That
throats
makes
of the
it
American
worse.
people, how does that help? But she
It
said
actually makes
even
it
last
worse.
night on 60 Minutes that if he's impeached, then he can't ever run for federal office again. I think her fear is him running again in 2024. And you know what? If that's the case, bust a move, man. Just get out. Let the president finish out his presidency. But she's showing her true colors yet again.
Yeah. And by the way, you've got a new administration coming in 9 days. You might want to start working with them on setting the agenda
She's
rather
too
than going
busy.
after something that you're not going to achieve in 9 days.
Yeah, she cannot get President Trump out of her head. He has so much real estate
Yeah.
for free in her head. It's actually kind of funny.
He has, please, real estate. He has like oceanside property in there because and a lot of these people have to look. He's going, whatever we may feel on who won and who didn't, whatever. But the fact is this: he is leaving office on the 20th. That is that.
Yeah.
Move on.
She
And
can't.
that's what my hope is for everybody. Is if you have somebody who politically disagrees with you, just stop for a minute, take a breath, and just calmly ask, can we talk? And then start working some stuff out and start small. Because, at the end of the day, I don't want more planes flying into buildings as a way of uniting us. We should unite now. This was already a tragedy of unspeakable definition. We have to stop this now. And it's not up to our government, it's up to us.
We need to
have
take
to bear the
personal responsibility. Yeah. Well, we love you, Chris. We miss you. We'll talk to you again soon.
Sorry I went on that little rant.
No, hey, we
Well,
love
okay,
it. That's what we're going to talk about.
I just let you and Kathy go. It was just fun. she got to keep
He
talking
already
over
went
me.
home. He had enough.
It was you this time, not me. I got to take a break, so I'm okay with that.
Oh, we love you, Chris.
All right.
Hey, thanks.
Stay
Love
Chris.
you
safe.
guys too, and Happy
Mwah.
New Year.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year.
Take care.
All right.
So
Bye-bye.
here's the big question that
Yes.
we need to answer, right? This is the big question. Does private industry come under the same constitutional restraint that government does with its private citizenry? And the answer is no, it doesn't.
It is
So
what it is, yeah.
if Twitter and Facebook want to shut you down, they can shut you down. And then the question was posed to the Congressional Research Service to find out, hey, what if all these lawsuits come out? What comes about them? Nothing. They're not protected
Again, it's
by freedom of speech.
and we don't. And here's the thing: do we like this? Like it? I think Rush Limbaugh even now on his own left Twitter. I think he took his 30 million followers with him. It's kind of like you and I have complained about different stores, different chains, different things over the years. You and I've had our rants about this company or that company or whatever for whatever reason. Well, then the way you deal with that is you don't go shop there, you don't spend money there, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Did you get your hair highlighted?
No,
It looks good. It looks like you've been out in the sun.
I don't know.
sorry, squirrel. I
don't know.
Your hair looks nice today. Okay,
But-
sorry, but but here's the thing. As much as I hate
Thank you,
this,
by the way.
you're welcome. As much as I hate it, they're not government
They're
entities.
not. Here's the problem. The problem is that they have become an institution
No.
for so many people.
Bingo.
And that's where the confusion is
Yeah.
that there's this feeling that Facebook and Twitter are an institution of our country, when in fact they're not. They are privately owned. They're privately driven. They don't have this fairness to them. They don't have this non-prejudice to them. And so they're going to push their agenda, which is what is scary. There are so many people on Facebook, on Twitter, that they're able to influence these people to think that what they put out or what they allow to be put out is true, when in fact it's not true at all. It is simply their their agenda that they're pushing to make happen. And so what has to happen? Well, you get a company like Parler that comes up to represent the conservative voice. But then you've got groups like Amazon and iCloud and Google that won't now allow them to be carried on their platform.
Well, and JP,
Again,
let me read specifically. This is what you and I went back and forth.
Let me finish this thought real quick.
Yeah, because
And
this is serious.
Again, we think that these platforms are institutions of the United States, and they're not. Europe was smart. Europe came back and said, hey, Facebook, you're done tracking our citizens. You're done sending them. You know how you and I get here's the boots that you've been looking for, and we didn't ask Facebook at all for that?
Literally, we just talked about it with somebody in our home or here in the studio, and that's the next ad that pops up.
And Europe has shut that down.
Can we shut that down?
We can. We absolutely have the power to shut that down as a government.
Because that's eerie.
Well, and it's very eerie.
And it happens all the time.
Yeah, and there is no First Amendment protection to that.
Right.
Because you're taking and somehow listening to our personal preferences.
Even when you're not in the app. That's what's creepy to me.
And you're tracking them. And so the bottom line is this, is that you're going to have to choose a different platform. Stop Google searching. Start searching on things like Yahoo.
Or there's a bunch of different ones.
Right, or other platforms that are out there. Because here's the thing. Donald Trump had 89 million followers.
Yeah.
So bundle up your 89 million followers and go somewhere else.
Yeah, go take them somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, and Parler,
so you were saying.
Parler is somewhere, where a lot of, now several times I've got the app, several times I've gone to sign up. I can't ever get on. I think there are just so many people, because usually it's prompted when I see somebody on Facebook who said, hey, follow me at Parler. I'm like, oh yeah, I need to get an account. And I haven't been able to make an account yet. Now I don't try every day, but just when I think about it. But Parler CEO says service dropped by every vendor, and that's in quotes, and could end his business. Parler CEO John Motz, is that how you say his last name?
Motz,
I think Motz. Said today that his social media company has been dropped by virtually all of its business affiliates after Amazon, Apple, and Google ended their agreements with the social media service. Every vendor from text message services to email providers to our lawyers all ditched us on the same day, he told Fox News. He conceded that the bans could put the company out of business while raising free speech issues, calling it an assault on everybody. They all worked together to make sure at the same time we would lose access to not only our apps, but they're actually shutting off all of our servers tonight. And this article came out yesterday. He said they've made an attempt not only to kill the app, but to actually destroy the entire company. And it's not just these three companies. Every vendor from text message services to email providers to our lawyers all ditched us too on the same day. And these remarks came a day after Amazon dropped Parler from its servers, joining Apple and Google. They all cited the potential of spreading violent content on the site, which is favored by conservatives as an alternate to Twitter and Facebook.
So Amazon, what they did is they said that
that's heartbreaking.
Well, sure, it is heartbreaking.
It is.
But I've got a caveat. But so I'm going to go back to what I was saying, though. Amazon claimed they found 89 different users inciting violence on Parler, and that Parler wasn't taking care of the people that were inciting the violence on Parler. Now, Parler's claim is we have a better system than Twitter or Facebook. We have a system set up where you can complain, send a complaint. They even have a jury that they've created that reviews what's going on to make a decision. It's not just some $15 an hour dude or gal sitting behind a screen saying, yep, this looks like it meets the criteria. So Amazon's ban supposedly is because Parler wouldn't take care of the violations against Amazon's policy. Now, do we go to the extent of kicking them off the platform? Amazon did. You don't like it? Stop buying from Amazon.
Exactly.
Because here's my other side of it. My other side of this is free enterprise has to remain free enterprise. And you can't have the government stepping in unless there's a monopoly. If there's a monopoly,
then you're right. Yes,
then it's different,
then
and we need to
story.
break the monopoly up.
Right.
So,
which has been done with other things. Well, it's heartbreaking because I feel like the assault. It would be one thing if they shut down. There were things like I remember back when BLM was saying. Pigs in a blanket fry like bacon, and death to cops, and I saw those things on social media. And I'm not
Well,
on
they've
Twitter,
not been kicked off.
But that's my problem. Is even back a few years ago, even back when Obama was president, you would see these social media posts from these groups, and to me, that's inciting violence. But they're still all allowed to be on there. It's like the assault for freedom of speech is on conservatives, and at some point. And here's the thing, then you've got to weigh out, well, it sure is convenient. I can go on Amazon. I can order vitamins, I can have vitamins sent to my daughter. I can have, I can order, something that I can't find at the grocery store and have it to my house literally sometimes the same day. So it's a convenience. We are on Facebook. I mean, heck, you're maxed out. You've got the 5,000 friends you can have. You're maxed out. So okay, then at some point do we say, well, I'm dropping this? I had one of my girlfriends, she and I kind of had this debate about, well, what do you do? Because the majority of us who have a job, any type of job, you're connected to Google and Gmail because somebody somewhere that's helping pay your bills has got a Gmail drive that you're using.
Right.
So, okay, well, I can say, oh, sure, I'm done with Gmail. Well, no, I'm not, because that's attached to it's how we have our show documents. It's how we get information from one show to another.
Start downloading to a zip drive, and we're going to Microsoft.
Yeah. So
hello, Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Hello,
Well,
Bill Gates.
and I was gonna say, and
seriously.
Then look at
Or
that's
NetSuite.
And
we're off to
Bill
NetSuite.
Gates.
Or,
that's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day. But it's just you've got a convenience factor. Not everybody. Many people have had the conversation of do not get the vaccine for COVID because it is truly a government tracking device. This, in my
goodness
hand,
gracious, yes.
we have been,
They're
if
listening.
you've got a cell phone,
They've been listening.
you've got a tracking device
If
that
you've
you
got a
take
phone.
with you everywhere.
Even an analog phone. They've been listening.
I mean, it is what it is. So
That came out years ago. They've been listening.
So we can't, it's one of those things. So do you go back to, not being connected with folks? I like the fact that my son, who, he's a relatively new driver. Okay, I can see on a family app that we have where he is. Did he make it safely to guitar lessons? Did he make it safely to his friend's house? Did he make it safely to school? When my daughter goes out of town or goes to a big concert, she adds me back to the family plan. I guess she doesn't want to know where. She don't want me to know where she is in the meantime. Just teasing. But she's 21. But she'll be like, "Hey, Mom, we're going here for the weekend. Make sure you're looking at where I am." And that's a safety thing. So do I want to turn that convenience away? Heck, I'm able to do on long commutes, and when I'm in the car, you and I take care of a lot of show business that way.
Right.
You and I, I know each of us with our own consulting services takes care of a lot of business that way. Amazon's super easy to shop on. Did a lot of Christmas shopping on Amazon.
Right.
So are we willing to, as conservatives, are we willing to just give up all the convenience?
Hey, welcome back to eBay. There are other alternatives out there.
But
so
since when you get so used to doing something a
sure.
certain way and it's easy, then it's real hard to make that paradigm shift back.
But that's how they get you.
Exactly.
And that's how you lose your country.
It's a catch-22, and so
because
then
you get fat, happy, and lazy, and you don't stay
it's like
active.
it reminds me of the movie. Was it Wall-E? Where everybody was in those recliners and they were just it was a
no, not Wall-E. It wasn't Wall-E.
What?
It was,
you know what I'm talking about?
What was that movie? Oh yeah, they were up in space. And
and they were in these, and everybody was just, and they were in
and
recliners, kicking back, and
it
just
drove them
eating.
everywhere they went. Yeah, that wasn't Wall-E. Wall-E, no.
Oh, I
Wall-E
can't.
was
Somebody
another
help
thing.
me with that. I know somebody.
His name might have
watching
been Wall-E, but no, Wall-E was the other movie.
Wall-E was the
Yeah.
yeah.
It
But
was
you
the
know
fat
which one
blobby
I'm
guy.
talking
Oh,
about.
yeah. Absolutely.
And so that's one of those things.
They were living in space.
And it's interesting because I've had several friends, and some of them are mutual friends of ours who have said, I'm done with Facebook, but then a few days later they'll be like, well, I just had to post this one thing,
Right.
and then you get sucked back in.
Absolutely.
So what do you do?
Absolutely. All right.
You know?
So as we get ready to head out, I do want to say that I'm going to ask the
Oh,
crew
it's
for.
almost 9.
It is 9 now. Ask the crew for prayers. One of the crew members has a soccer player on the
Yes.
team that was in an accident, and so
Please pray for this young lady.
Put your hands
Yes.
together and pray
Yes.
that the
Thank
doctors
you.
and the nurses are ready to go and fully
Yeah,
revived
pray
from
for
whatever
that
they're
family.
dealing with, so that they can help this young lady come out of whatever may have happened in her family as well. So, with that being said, we want to thank Venture X Studios for
Yes.
having us and hosting us here.
We love it
everything
here.
you need. Go to friscotx.venturex.com. The guys and gals here are amazing.
Yeah, call
you
Chance,
will
post.
love them.
He'll hook you up. Yeah, we love it out here.
All
Have a
right,
good time.
have a good time. We're out.
All right, have a blessed day.
Have a blessed day.
Stay tuned.
Bree, thank you.
Yes, Bree,
Appreciate you,
fantastic
girl.
job. We're so happy you're back.
And pretty nails.
And she looks great.
She does. She looks fantastic.
Stay tuned from 10 to 11. Today we've got Senator Angela Paxton on Heart and Soul of Texas Women, talking about how faith impacts her life. And I think we might even get a worship song out of her today. So y'all have a blessed day.